Guys, welcome back to another episode of UnMotivated. We're sitting here, and our guys Humble Abode, man. This is Parker. We've got Marlon. We've got Better Best Dog on the mics with us today. Now, for one, hey, is there anything that we should be promoting? Well, go ahead and say all the avenues, because you're back here for your third episode. Your episode, people have already told me they listened to a few times. It got, how many downloads did I get, Money?
His specifically, I couldn't tell you off top, but I know it's 30 plus because everything's 30 plus.
Guys, let's paint a picture here. And again, I have to keep thanking people for listening and downloading. They gave us some. Jamarcus, walk us through exactly what you explained to me the other day in terms of the podcast thing.
So if your episodes reaches anywhere from 30 plus downloads in the first 7 days, you are now considered in the top 50% of podcasting. When that number starts increasing to 100, then you start hitting 25%. And then 500, 10%. And then once you start hitting 1,000 plus, you're in the top 5%. And then anything beyond that, 1%.
There you go, people. So what that means is, for one, we've already had over 500 downloads, to be clear. But our average episode download is 30 plus. And that, I'm telling you right now, we don't got 20 episodes out. There's not 20 episodes available. But in less than a month, literally, we're still not even at a month when we started this thing. What day did we start?
We started December 15th.
Ooh, so we're four days away, a couple of days away from being a month on this podcast. And because, again, the people we know sitting down, putting you guys out, I don't like the word game, but just giving some good information and telling the truth is working. And the people we're meeting, they're like, yo, and we got tagged earlier today, and people have been tagging me on the dog page. Look, I'm dying to hear the next one. Sent it to a buddy of mine in Kansas City who was driving back to Chicago. He goes, bro, I heard the first episode. I'm already fucking hooked. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
it's a work in progress, and I think this could work.
Glad y'all doing it, man.
Yeah, man.
Glad I can contribute.
Hey, man, they enjoying the episodes, bro.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Real quick, this pillow, is that bothering? Is that in the camera?
I mean, that's fine, man.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay, cool. I just don't want it to be like a loose end in the camera. You know what I'm saying? We
too-
all about the details in this house, as you can tell.
Details. The devil's in the details, man. But go ahead and walk them through all the places they can find you, and again, just keep reintroducing yourself, man, and so they can reach out.
I appreciate y'all having me on again. I mean, for me, it's really Instagram, real simple. Watch.Parker. If you want to find me on LinkedIn, you can find me by my name, Parker Lee. Yeah. Those are really the only avenues where I participate pretty regularly. I may get more active on like the YouTubes or podcasts on my own, but for now, we hang with y'all. So that's it.
Hey, and that in itself, people, is a privilege. Now, let's get to the presence of privilege and presence. And one thing I do know is you have a family. We're in your home.
We do, yeah. Thank you for coming to me today, because as you could tell when y'all got here, I was on baby duty.
and I mean, literally, you said 3 or 4 month old?
Yeah, she's just about 4 months.
4 months old, people, and he's still finding the time to share some of his time with friends. So I think Jamal and I did a segment, if you would, on cutting dead weight, and even more importantly, how you choose to move forward in this life when you're trying to attract higher valued individuals, right?
Yeah.
So what's one of the things that you look for when you are trying to connect, be it you're a high value person, to other people like-minded? And I'm saying this, let me make sure I frame this right. There are 3 black men sitting here, and definitely for where I come from, I think where Maul comes from.
Who got excluded? Hold on.
I was doing the math too. I was looking around. I was like, does my half not count no more?
I guess he counted both his half.
He counted both his one.
Hey, it's a 3/8 rule.
There's 3-4 black men here.
Hey, you know what? I don't know if that was on purpose or if it was just some quick math. Yeah. But, hey, kudos, man. That shit was lit. That was crazy.
Hey, listen, the beauty about 3
we both like,
I was like, yo.
Jamarcus has got Navajo, and we got a part-time Jew over here.
that was crazy.
That was, man.
But listen, there are 4 black men here, and every one of us has just a little bit different upbringing. So in my case, you say, you get in this environment, you don't know how to look to better in your life, right? And nothing around you is better. And let me be very clear in saying this. I've said this on another podcast. My dad, I was 5 years old when they took him away, and my papa had to pick me up from the county jail. My mom's only worked, and I do repeat, only worked as a Cracker Barrel person in the data source. $4 at one point working in KinderCare. I could walk you through the thing. So there was never an opportunity for me to see this brighter future. Like in no way, shape, or form. I don't have doctors and lawyers and engineers and thinkers and entrepreneurs and inventors in my family. That's not the case. I got some people that work their ass off just to have nothing, you know, and you say nothing and they had what they needed to get through life, right?
Yeah.
But then you're like, man, I want a little bit more.
Yeah.
So, but you'd only get more when you can increase that network a lot of times. So, you know, be it, you know, you get into a space where a guy welcomes us in. I think the home's a sacred place, man.
Yeah.
I know for a fact people ain't gonna be coming to my home, but it's a sacred place, and you know that invitation it really, you know, gets me a lot of times. And I'm like, and then I get to bring some other homies with me, that everybody feels safe, like a baby, kid, family. Like it's a lot to be invited in people's homes where I come from, at least.
Yeah, very intimate, man.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, so then if you could, Park, give us some advice on, you know, potentially finding higher value in individuals to, you know, extend your network.
Yeah. So, and sorry, I had to order food from my boss there, you know.
The wife.
Yeah. You know, so for me, it's always been about putting yourself in position, right? So go to the places that you envision those people being, right? So if you're going to specialize in real estate, you should be at real estate conferences, real estate meetups, right? You should be at investor events, those kind of things. And not these conferences where you sit down and they lecture you for an hour, right? We're talking about networking events. You're talking about maybe builder events, right? Where you know investors are going to go to see the new thing that they should be putting in their houses, right? Yeah. You think like an investor, act like an investor, right? So if whatever it is and that applies to whatever it is that you want to do. The next thing is that once you start to put yourself in those environments and make those connections, bring value, right? Like if you have money already, then that's pretty clear what your value is, right? If you're going to be an investor in a situation like myself, it's really clear what my value is, right? Now, secondary value might be things like you're a connector, right? You have relationships. Oh, shit.
You're good, man. You're good.
Yeah. Can y'all get that out?
Yeah, no, they're not. They can't hear.
They
man.
won't be able to hear that. You'll be good.
Okay, cool. All right, sorry for y'all. We in my house, and there's house things happening. Yeah. So, you know, be valuable, right? If you're a connector, connect people, right? If you're a deal maker, make deals, right? Do that. It's always about bringing the value. And if you don't have any of those things, right? So as an example, when I was starting out my career and I was looking at, you know, I was going to these places with high net worth individuals or high value individuals, and I wanted to reestablish myself as the same. What can I take off your plate? Like what tasks that
almost
are
like
super
volunteer
small,
stuff, huh?
dude? Oh yeah, for sure. I'll never forget. So I worked with this broker in Naples, Florida, right? So I was at school, undergrad, and his name was Larry Rorda. And I hope that one day he hears this shit. I didn't like this fool at all, as it came to be. Yeah. But I learned how, like, the work product. I learned the frequency, a lot of things from him. So I brought him value because I took a lot of stuff off of his plate, right? And he brought me value because I learned some of who I didn't want to be, right? I learned about how I didn't want to be, but I also learned a lot about how to operate at a level that gets you the results that you need, right? This dude was a hustler. Yeah. He was busting his hump in a community that, quite frankly, it's a small community. You know, you live and die by every single transaction. Like, you know, you're making bigger transactions because of the dollar amounts. I mean, average house in that area at the time was probably like $2 million, and this is 10 plus years ago, right? Yeah. And so this is pre-inflation, pre-COVID, pre all these, you know, mortgage crisis type deals. Like this is a long time ago, and so short answer is like, be valuable. And that comes in a lot of different forms. So get creative with the ways that you bring value.
So that means you got to know humility in a sense. I don't like the word humble, but you got to yo, my man, you're not him yet. Yeah. I met grown men who's like, man, I want to be the guy. I'm like, but nobody knows who you are, and you're not that smart. So, and you know, when I say smart means like, you know when to fall back so that you can really. I went, believe it or not, photography wise, I tell the story. I went to go change Michael Miller's batteries at weddings just so I could see how he was shooting. And then he'd give me the camera. Hey, you could use this one, take some pictures, and I'll tell you how to get better with it. And I learned photography. And the most annoying thing happened because I was trying to do these National Geographic shots. And I said, Mickey, I can't figure out this fucking light. He drives all the way to this gym moves it, just literally, he just moves it to the left. He said, just do like this, and takes the photo. And I go, what the fuck? but that's why
awesome.
that's why he's who he is, and that's why I'm the student at the time. And now, I've passed that information on to Jamarcus as he practices, and he's leveraged those skills. But I mean, literally, I'm keeping batteries in my pocket, following around while he's shooting first looks and all this stuff that goes on pre-wedding. And just like I'm watching, like, yo, man, what are you doing? What's a good camera? How did you do this? Would you take this down to ISO, aperture, shit like that? So, big believer in the definitely knowing your space and then knowing how to grow, but then identifying too, because I know people have identity crises at times.
Yeah,
for sure.
And mind you, in those moments too, you're gonna feel like you're doing bitch work. Even Travis said it to me at times, and honestly, I don't even feel that because of the opportunities it lends. I get to learn from people like Maul, people like Parker. I get to meet all these individuals, and to be in these rooms just from holding the camera, being able to set up the podcast, or doing the websites, or managing operations, doing all the stuff behind the scenes to make their lives easier, so that we can keep this show moving. It's priceless.
And you're in a better position though too.
I sure am too. Trust me, I sure am, and I will say that proudly.
There you go.
I don't think it's necessarily bitch work, because you could take it to the part when back in the day, and I know Puffy's damn near canceled, but Cheesecake Factories,
Puffy
you know what I'm saying?
is
Like
canceled.
those little errands where
Puffy's canceled.
he's canceled.
I know what you about to say. How you used to send them to go get cheesecake.
Yeah, but he's
that's
definitely
crazy.
canceled. But I was trying to be nice. But
Do I get my card back for that? I knew that reference.
What? Oh, your black card.
But I don't think it's considered bitch work, bro. It's just it's like you said, humility, man, and it's just you got to learn the ropes, and those things are designed to kind of make you tougher in certain situations, so you can understand what's going on and what you're trying to get to. So
For sure. If I could add to that, one thing that I think is really important is, we're not all going to be successful, right? Like, we'd like to believe that we are, and everybody behind the camera that that is watching, look, you guys got to face a stark reality that some of y'all are not going to be successful. I hate to be that bearer, right?
That's a fact, yeah.
But
It's the truth, though.
But you know what? It's when you stop. It's when you stop trying.
Yeah.
And it's also when you start having an attitude about things. Like the cheesecake is a perfect example, or anything else that you look at as menial. In one of my businesses about a couple years ago, when I was getting it started, it was actually when I first started flipping real estate. When I was getting it started, I got this office, and it was too small for any cleaners to want to come to the office. So I had to clean the office, right? Who am I to not clean our office, right? And I think about that. It's like anybody else is just going to let the office be dirty, or ask their employees to do it. I could have very well done that. I could have. But you know what? It's just like one of those things for me that I'm like checked in. This is a part of how we are all going to stay successful, because if nobody else wants to do it, why? I'll do it. I'll do everything from top to bottom. I'll close the deals. I'll get the deals. I'll scrub the toilets out this mother. Stop playing with me. So anyway, I say that as like, those are the people that will actually carry the torch and find the ways to be successful, because they don't look at any task as too small for them or not meaningful enough.
Yeah.
Everything counts.
Every last rep.
They got to get done. Just like Tree was saying in one of the first episodes, or the third one, he was like, yo, I got to be the janitor. I got to go scrub the toilets. I got to go fucking vacuum, dust, fucking whatever. I got to get it done.
Hand out flyers, just like even Colton was saying. He's at Walmart handing out his own flyers.
His family trying to figure out how he was able to grow that thing so set, but he was on a mission.
On a mission, man.
On a mission. So in this case too, because again, everybody here is trying to extend their network by $10 million. And you're just, okay, so how do you get to a $10 million person? Well, has anyone ever had a $10 million idea? And then are they executioners per se? Because you need it. He definitely has had a couple of them.
Fucking yes.
And that makes our life easy, and I know Maul has high level, access to people as well. So, if you don't mind, Maul, and Jamarcus too, what are some things you guys did, or let me restate this. You guys were probably uncomfortable the first time you got around people who were worth more.
Always.
Very much so.
Always.
And so what was the thing? How long did it take for you to get out of your own head when it comes to being like, because these guys, I've been around a few of Maul's people, and mind you, Well, I think the first time Craig come over, I was cooking. So after I get done cooking, I said, hey, look, sorry, man, I was focused. I said, I go around the thing and I shake his hand. I said, so how do you know this guy? He's not that smart. and I'm giving Jamal a hard time, but clearly he's smart enough for this very wealthy person to show up. But I've been around wealth and things for so long, it don't move fast, you know?
Yeah.
So even I'm cooking, making people food. Hey, Craig, you want some food? Perfect. Well, I got to finish this and then we'll talk. But I know what it also feels like to feel less than because you literally don't know what the fuck is going on. And they're throwing stuff out, words and shit you ain't never heard.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the first time, I think I told you guys, Dan asked me, he said, Trevor, could you write up your accolades? I'm like, man, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
He was like, degrees, certification. I said, man, I don't got none of that stuff. He says, well, how do you know all these things? I said, I read everything.
Yeah.
He said, what do you mean? I read everything. He goes, I said, PhD, anatomy books. I read everything, man. I literally sat at a dude's table for 8 hours and read every book possible. And I analyzed them. Okay, this one says this. And I broke it all down. And I remember getting tired saying, wake up. You got to finish.
Yeah.
Nobody was at this dude's house but me.
Yeah.
The point is, what are some things that you guys maybe did to overcome? Because now you know you're on the right path and you can't walk into any other room ever again feeling less than.
I mean, kind of what you just said, broke it down, right? And what Craig did a great job was he just told me to just slow down, bro, and kind of to piggyback off of what Parker said, just try to add value, try to see what you could take off the plate, and just don't get overwhelmed, get in your head. It's real simplify the process. What needs to be done? What level you at? How could you help add to the situation?
Yep.
And those tasks, also with the Nolans and different people like that. That's where I realized,
You leveled the playing field.
yeah, you level the playing field. Some, like he said, some people are never going to be like super successful.
Yeah.
But if you do things in increments, you learn how to invest properly, save properly, and those things could get you to where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
But you have to be in a level to be able to understand that. That's where pride and ego and fucking comprehension and common sense come in part, right?
The hardest,
Definitely.
is
You know
to
what I'm
start.
saying?
Starting
But
is the hardest.
It's a lot, bro. But like for the most part, for me, how I was able to kind of transition that from being in a place to where you're playing and you're doing all this kind of stuff. These things kind of come at you, but you're never in a good space to kind of understand what's going on. Slow down, kind of take yourself out, reassess the situation, and just like, okay, cool. I could simplify my process by, KISS, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And just, you should be fortunate enough to have the type of people like the Craigs and the Nolans and, Parkers and people like the fucking
Everybody.
Riches
Everyone,
that, they're going to apply a lot of pressure, but you just have to be steadfast and just understand what the goal is and what's trying to get done. And you'll be surprised how many things could change. Like I told you, I'm over here riding with dude that's about to get his own store. You know what I'm saying? His whole floor plan. I'm like, how the hell did this happen? You know what I mean? I just listened to him talk about time. You know what I mean? And he just like come ride with me, and he invited me with him today again. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, being a people person and also just having a certain level of comprehension and not putting too much on yourself, on your plate, to try to be able to assess things properly and get it done and getting out your head because you're not going to know everything. And if you're trying to get to, $100 million, $2 million, whatever, you have to understand, especially if you never had it before or got it in a way where you're not used to, someone's always going to be better than you and going to have the different type of blueprint. So if that's what you want to do, you got to walk that walk, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of that walk comes from just being able to kind of turn the man ego down.
Definitely.
And just being present in what's being taught.
Facts.
Definitely.
It's so interesting because, like we all struggle with it at times. I think we talked about it a little bit in that last episode, right? But yeah, if you come into things with your ego out of whack, man, it's like you're already ready to fail.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like you're already a loser, dog. Like just know that.
Yeah.
And I think I bring up the Bible a lot of times. People, I'm not a religious person, but it's the best saying because whenever I've seen someone egotistically lean into pride, the Bible says pride comes right before you fail, and you go. Every time you've seen it, even as something as simple as LeBron said, we're gonna win more champions than anybody when he went to the Miami Heat, and I'm not even a basketball fan. I said that ain't gonna work. He should have never said that. And I didn't watch one game, but I knew that wasn't gonna happen because we leaned into pride versus the work.
Oh my God.
And the people who people respect the most, you respect his statistics, but you respect Jordan's love for the game, and that you don't hear them talk about anything outside of he would terrorize you.
Yeah.
They'd be like this, do not say that to Jordan. Boy, you know what you just did? you about to look, man.
Or even
Kobe
like Kobe.
adapted that.
Yeah,
same
Kobe
thing.
adapted
Mentality.
that. Yeah. It's like when they say failure is not an option, okay, for the people that are not operating on a high frequency, you're taking that failure and you're like, fuck, I fucked up. No, it's like, okay, that's a lesson. Now,
Exactly.
what level are you at with yourself to understand that this was a lesson? This happened because of this. You know what I'm saying? Let me go back to the drawing board, and reassess these situations to be like, oh, okay, I missed that when that was delivered, or I should have looked at it like this instead of being in my head, or the message I'm focused on the tone of the message instead of the message. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of fucking
to
factors,
the best.
bro.
That, look, that really get a nigga in his feelings.
Yep.
Bro. A nigga be like this, man. He shouldn't have said it that way. I'm like, bro, you better calm down.
Yep, I've been
what I'm
there.
saying?
I've been there.
You know what I'm saying, bro? So,
Oh, yeah.
And then, like we spoke about, it's always, and then there's like mentors to mentors to mentors. There's levels
Every
to all of this
mentor
shit.
got a
So,
mentor. That's the crazy part.
Yep.
yeah, bro.
The richest
Everyone
of the
has
rich got
someone
somebody that they call
they're
and talk to.
learning
Yep.
from. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
man,
man.
it's just
It's
like
true.
you said, man. One of the episodes you did talking about mental health, bro. If your fucking mental capacity is just not somewhere where it needs to be, where you could just be able to kind of somewhat level-headed in your thought process, bro. And that comes down to your environment, what you're taking in, fucking synergy, fucking what's being pulled from you, who's pulling from you. Man, all of those things play a factor because you got people giving you information and their input on things that they never were successful for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just watching what you're going through, and instead of just figuring out how to just give a neutral message in a sense, it just comes mad fucking negative. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So now you got that shit pouring into your thought process and you trying to figure out your venture. So it's, man, look, kudos, man.
Yeah.
There's one thing that stood out in you said it. You said something that reminded me. It's like, early on when you're meeting people, you also can't see them as like an opportunity to get ahead either.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you alluded to that, and so I agree. It's like you have to see them as an opportunity to learn, and then you get yourself ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some people are like, oh, I met somebody with all this money, I hit a lick.
Yeah.
It's like, hey man,
Oh, no. They got money,
shut
you
up.
don't.
Oh, yeah. No, we met
Facts.
some people that are like
Facts.
that for sure.
Yeah.
Facts.
Or like Cat Williams said, shut up.
Oh, man. I would
Bro,
also,
if I could dub his voice over, oh man, I would live life like that. He's my spirit animal right now.
Oh, man, that's funny, bro. But, I mean, I would also say, man, and all that, it definitely comes back down to also keeping an open mind when you're walking into these rooms, especially if you can't add that type of value. Also, you don't know what you don't know, so don't try to act like you know. That's one thing I know. I'm definitely taking the time when I'm walking in these rooms with Trev at times. I'm falling back and I'm just trying to learn.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm here to learn, and I know at some point I'm like, yo, now this is at least a new reference or resource. I can at least ask a question. Like, hey, I know if I got a question about credit or finances, whatever, I can hit them all up now and stuff like that. Anytime I'm like, yo, I've been working on for you on this website. What does this mean exactly?
Yeah.
Or if I have questions now about operations, I know my man Parker here is an operations fanatic. I can hit him up.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. You're in these rooms. You got to keep an open mind and know that you don't know what you don't know, and you got to fall back and just be ready to learn. And that's it.
What you guys will see over the next, I'd say 5 years too, is Jamarcus will slow down. He's like, Ed said, man, every time you talk, it's like you're selling something, bro.
I'm just excited.
Yeah, no, I know.
Keep that energy though. That passion is so good for you, Like, and I can see the natural curiosity, which for me,
Scooby Doo, nigga.
Yeah. But it's good though, like it'll I say this about one of my boys, his superpower is his curiosity. Right.
So
I
he'll
think
ask good questions then.
I wouldn't say they're always good questions, but what do you expect from a 10-year-old, right? So
Oh, you literally mean your son?
yeah, one of my kids. Yeah, but it's his superpower but I know as he sophisticates and he develops, it will be something that he uses to get to know people, to attain knowledge that maybe not everybody would get, and not only that, but he's persistent about it. So I know he tells you you're gonna slow it down. I tell you to keep it going.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if once you stop, the progress stops, or it becomes a lot harder. Like I know for me, like I, in a way, turn that off based on like some of the walls that I faced and things like that. And so I have to manually turn it on. For him, it's almost natural. Like questions ooze out of his eyeballs, man. It's like sometimes we're like, man, you already know the sky's blue. Like, why do I need to tell you why it's blue? Like,
Oh my God, that's Michael, bro.
Stop it. And so, the adult version of that is, probably a lot where you are finding this natural need to build a repository of answers to these maybe somewhat esoteric questions, right?
Yeah.
That's why it's the second time.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's honestly keep it going.
That's
Appreciate
Stan's
that,
word.
man.
Stan
Esoteric, yeah. Esoteric, he does.
I said, Stan, I know you got that from Will Smith. I know you ain't read, not you. Now you know the word. Stan on the other hand, I said, I know you ain't read nothing with that in it, buddy. Bless your heart.
So let me get guys. Actually, let me ask you this. All right. So I've gotten a couple of debates about this, about the word opportunist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there is a such thing as a good opportunist, right? And some people think that being an opportunist is a bad thing. And I'm like, man, look, if you're making platonic relationships and it's genuine, opportunities come forth on how you can learn and grow.
Yeah.
But if I'm going in there, like you said earlier, like, oh shit, man, like, oh yeah, I done read on Forbes, this motherfucker's worth $100 million, right? Mm-hmm. And everything is like when Jay-Z said why he don't like to go to family because they just throwing shit at the wall to see if it sticks.
Mm-hmm. I'll see if they can shake you down.
You know what
but
I'm
that's you're answering your own question because it is literally based on the opportunity. And I'm telling you right now, I told you, first investor ever gave me a $25,000 check and then gave me $8,000 everything. I'm walking out of his house and I'd been pouring into his kid.
Yeah.
And he says, man, I found you an investor. He says, I'll see you Sunday, come by. Yeah. And I was like, man, who'd you get? He's like, he gave me a check. and it was not the opportunity. I was like, he's like, Trevor, you ever need to raise any money? I said, I do need a car. I didn't have a car at the time. So he goes, man, you do get places and you're always on time. He said,
that's funny.
Being punctual helps.
Yeah. So and I was there with his son Mason and he just said, man, I found you an investor, man. I really like that T-Fit thing. It's working. He said, but we'll talk. And so he gave me a check to go buy a car. Then told me to call Bob Hewlett back home, and he'll take care and make sure I get the car. Yeah. And guess what? Bob lived right across the street. So Bob Allen Ford, it's been on Jamarcus and I. It's been
Bob
40
Allen
years
Ford,
of
bro.
commercials with this guy.
Oh, yeah.
So when you're looking at the opportunity, the opportunity for me, and I think for all of us in here, is the work. Yeah. Can I learn from being in this space, and can I say yes to a few more things and see what happens? But I've never looked at an opportunity, even like sitting down here with Parker. Mm-hmm. We know for a fact he's alluded to, hey, I want to invest 10 such and such. I want to buy 10 more homes. Jamal knows how to find homes. We've got 3 or 4 businesses we're about to build, and it's still not the time. It's like one of those things we'll get there. And I know 5 more other people. Even when you saw Colton, I said, Colton, can you believe this doctor said we just need $150,000 to do this CVS for dogs?
Yeah.
He's like, what? He's like, Trev, just tell me where to put the fucking money. We just raised $4 million. Yeah. My average network of individuals has a network, and you know why it works? Like if you heard Colton's episode as well, it's because everybody does work.
Mm-hmm. Man, you're definitely right. Shit, I humble myself. Right? First, I told you I went to Nolan's office, right? And he was like, yo, I think I'm a deep dive back into real estate, bro. This is what I'm looking for. I'm like, well, shit, why go against the grain? You know what I mean? It's like the 4th person in my circle, or now in my circle, looking for fucking real estate.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, shit. I asked Jamarcus, I'm like, okay, well, shit. This is you've had some success with this. Yeah. How do I identify? And then after that, you know what I mean? I'm like, shit, let me reach out to Parker. Yeah. Parker told me exactly what he's looking for. You know what I'm saying? So it's just generally trying to connect dots because everybody trying to figure shit out. And I'm gonna take a page out of Gilly's book right here, right? He's like, yo, look, hey, young nigga, all right? A dummy, you could be a CEO dummy. A dummy can make $1 million if you fucking paying attention, right? So it's kind of fucking true, you know?
Yeah. No, it is true.
Just keep it simple.
Completion is 70% of your grades in school. Like, my nigga, you got all Fs. You didn't even turn in the homework, bro. If you just turn in the homework and book, because a lot of times they just come by, oh, it's done.
Hey, can you? What's up, sweetie?
Oh,
it should be. Yeah, they're approaching with the food. Yeah, no, you're right. It's or they give you the opportunity to correct your work. This is a thing, like this is why I say it's so important to start, because if you start, you have an opportunity to fix your mistakes. Yes, if you never start, you never know where you're going to fail. You never know where you're going to succeed. You never know what you can fix, what you can't fix, none of that. So it's like I think school should do this more. Actually, that for those who still believe in school, that you should have the opportunity to correct your work, because you get the opportunity to do that in real life. I mean, there's not very often that your mathematics is the difference between life and death, unless you're a doctor, obviously, right?
Clearly,
you know, or your calculations are the difference. But like, you know, in the instances where it is meaningful, like in business or in a lot of other settings, like, hey man, you know, if you don't start, you will never, ever, ever get a shot to succeed.
Yeah.
Or in this case too, I think just learn something about yourself.
Yeah.
You think about where, you know, we talked off camera just about where each child in terms of your journey has led you mentally,
Yeah,
right?
for
And
sure.
same thing with myself, you know, knowing some of the people I'm known now 5, 6, 10 years, and think about where we're all right now. Where we're at right now is in a place, I think, of peace, where collectively, if we had to bring something to someone and say, I'm gonna get this done, I've got 10 years of he don't fuck up, so we're gonna be straight. And this is working, you know? So let's double down and really support growth collectively. But having that rationale and ability to reason comes from making choices that may have cost you a lot, sometimes cost you nothing, or even more important, maybe you just sit back and learn from idiots. You say, ooh, I don't want to do that. And you've got to take the good with the bad and everything in life. So I know you were leaning into, was there a question you was going to ask them all about just how to diversify, or, you know, differentiate in a sense, looking at things from a positive versus a negative,
Opportunities.
opportunity-wise? You just see his face right now, be like, what is this nigga talking about?
It's called a brain fog.
Don't worry,
bro.
man.
Yeah, you know what?
We'll cut the
I
episode
had,
so you
I had
can't
some
see his
feedback.
face.
I had some feedback on what he was saying, though. So yeah, I think that there is a such thing as a good opportunist, and it comes with discretion,
Yeah.
right? So like that person who sees every time that they meet someone new is like, oh, I can make some money, or I could do this.
Desperate people.
That's low discretion, low, desperate. It gives desperate, right? But the person who can say, all right, well, I'm going to build mutual relationships that we both give and take value, right? But it's not constant, right? Where you're not always like, oh man, I need something from you, or oh, they always need something from me. Like I had a gym partner that I was like this with, and it was kind of an odd relationship because he's much older. You remember this guy? Did you remember meet Perry?
No, I don't think I met Perry.
Okay,
I might have saw him one time. You had one guy with you one time at Azu's gym.
older dude.
Yeah, and it could have been him, 'cause it
Everybody
wasn't-
It was. Everybody thought this was my dad, right? He was a banker, and honestly, like we maintained a relationship for many years. And the only thing I ever needed from him is like, can you help me set up so I could buy my truck easier, right? Like literally, that was it. One thing, and you know, I gave him tons of value. So I taught him how to wholesale real estate. I taught him how to do a handful of other things. I helped him a lot in the gym, right? And you know, that was my value. So there's instances where someone, and definitely I probably could have exploited him for a lot of opportunities, you know, but I didn't. So that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, you know, short answer is yes, there is good
But
opportunities.
that goes back to also, I think, you knowing kind of what you need and being on the right path kind of sets you up for that place of peace where he's not getting you like, hey, you know what? I enjoyed this guy in the gym. I enjoyed learning a little about banking. Matter of fact, he said something about something, see how far he wants to take it. Oh, did you know you could do this with the real estate? But I think some of that stuff is rooted in your character.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that goes for everybody, right? Like, you know, so the short
Man,
answer
there's some bloodsuckers, bro. That's what he's
there
talking
is.
about.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, look,
Some
hey,
roaches, nigga.
here's the
You
thing.
can't kill them neither. They just keep coming back.
Here's the thing, right? Like I think that behavior is ingrained depending on the environment you're raised in, right? A lot of people in low income or impoverished environments, or even highly, let's take the money out of it, just competitive environments, right?
Yeah.
They feel like they have to grab at everything that crosses their desk, right? So like, do any of y'all have brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like when y'all were going to eat, if you can get your food first, you might not get food.
Oh man, snatching.
You know what I'm saying? So there's some people who carry that mentality throughout all life, you know, so they just grab every opportunity, and maybe they're selfish with the opportunity. So they don't think about others like, oh, well, I'm not a real estate, but I know this real estate guy. I'm not telling everybody else about it.
Yeah.
You know, or they're like, okay, well, I am in real estate, and even though there's not an opportunity to work together with this guy, I'm going to try to force the issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so those are
gotta
people
do a
that
deal
are like,
together.
those are people who are just bad opportunities, or you just have like the bad people who are like thieves, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Straight
show
up
up this
fucking
person,
robber
yeah,
barons.
yeah,
Damn.
like
Fucking robber
what are you
baron.
goddamn? What are you doing?
You go, fuck this
Bonnie and
motherfucker.
Clyde type shit. Like, what are we talking about here? But yeah, like, so short answer, like, again, a lot of words, but short answer is yes. There's definitely good opportunities. I think it comes with the discretion and the ability to reserve some of your own self needs, so that there is preservation of the relationship.
yeah.
Right. So
Same thing Craig said.
Let's lean into this and kind of like, I see this episode's turned into almost a value episode, like a value standpoint. So everybody can basically talk a little about what are the things they look for in terms of value when trying to build something out or build better values in yourself. And let me make sure I make this make sense. For me, I've always said I could scale character before I could scale a business. And if I find the right people, I can turn this whole thing into, because I could teach you how to do a lot of stuff or put you in rooms with people that can teach you how to solve a lot of my problems and build you from there. But if you lack, we'll just say integrity. And integrity people, it's also being able to deal with the punishment side of things too. Not everything works, and we might fail, and everybody got to be held accountable. And you heard that last clip Parker talked about. It was like, yo, get used to that accountability thing, because if we can't be accountable, going back to growing in terms of character, we can't grow. Absolutely. And if you don't ever think you made a mistake, but that mistake costs us $10,000, $5,000, $500, and we don't know how to solve it, it'll be fine. We got some more money, bro. It don't work that way.
Yeah.
And we're trying to save a half of a penny if we can when you really get into building big businesses. So,
man,
so when you look at values and character and how you align with people, what are some things you look for, Parker? You could start in terms of people you work with, and again, even allowing us to come into your house. What were the things you were assessing? Like, these are some decent guys. I'll fuck with them.
Yeah, fair enough, right? I will say that I operate on, when it comes to character, based on gut.
Yeah.
Right. I think that there are some people that are maybe a little bit better at character development or character analysis than I am in that sense. Just to see like, oh, well, this person is a bad person, right? I can sense like, oh, I don't like this, or it doesn't make me feel good.
Yeah.
Really, really well. And I'm quick to make decisions based on that. Like, there are people that I have meet one time and maybe like, I know that they float around in my sphere, but they will not see me again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All very much on purpose. I would say that, and she's not sitting here right now, but Desiree, my wife, is really good when it comes to the analysis of people. She can like break it down. She'd be like, yes, this person is not shit for these reasons, and you need to stay away.
I think that's a woman thing, bro.
Bro, maybe
Man.
so. She's a pro. She, when we meet people together, she's like, yeah, don't do that again.
Yeah,
Like, what can you tell me why? She's like, here's all the reasons. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Wow.
all right.
Yeah, no, for
Well,
sure.
Thank you.
I agree with you on
Thank
that
you very
one.
much. But as far as what I look for value-wise, it really just, do you have something that you're passionate about? That's what I'm looking for now, right? Are you, because I can go find my own stuff, man. Like, honestly, like I don't have any need from any particular person, and not to say that like I just have it. I don't have it all, but like, what's mine will come to me. It's inevitable. So, in the sense of like, what do I look for in people? I just be genuine, strong, honest characters, right? Care about the things that are important to you and show people that, right? So it really is a flag to me when people tell me this is important and then they can't show me why.
I got to lean into that before we go to others, because I'm talking to someone the other day and they're saying social media is bad. Everybody's always on their phone, such and such, right? And part of, you guys know me, I lean into everything. I just share everything. I don't give a shit. And the more admiration grows because they trust me now. They're like, yo, this dude's not hiding nothing. But while this person was complaining about being on social media, they live on YouTube. So I said, you had a 2-hour conversation about somebody for nothing that could have been leveraged, and you watch YouTube for 2 hours. You know how much money? Oh, that fucking video had 300,000 views. I said, and you watch for 2 hours? I said, do you know how much? I said, now mind you, just your perspective. I was like, I didn't think of it that way. I said, you deem things bad before you keep an open mind and look into them. So when he's talking about that sharing that moment or that experience, there are more viewers than doers. And that goes back to him also saying, hey, not everybody's going to be successful. The people that I've met that lack success is because they lack expressing, exposure, and exposing means, think about all the shit Elon, shit even, God bless Kanye West, the things that these guys say and do, but they're like, you can hate them or love them or dislike them, but they're not missing a beat with sharing with you views, values, disagree or disagree, speaking their mind. And Joe Rogan, I think fucking Dana White, the dude who wants to see, that motherfucker doesn't say, but like, look, I don't fucking give a shit what any of you fucking think. I voted for such and such, kiss my ass. We don't discuss that such and such. Yeah, I did. You go, damn. And he ain't lost $2.
Gotta respect it.
You go, oh, and people are like, oh, you could never live your life. That's why you'll never be successful.
Yeah. Yeah, be genuine for sure. I mean, like that's what I look for. And then again, stand on your business. If you believe in something or you really love something, you need to be doing that. Like if you aren't doing that, then like you're kind of a loser. Like, and I don't mean, like you have to be full tilt. Like you don't need to be the best at it, but you have to be taking a shot. Like if you love dogs and you got cats, bitch, what are you doing? Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, what's happening right now?
When we get a cat, I'm going to build a business. So I'm going to learn them leather motherfuckers.
But you get it, right?
You gotta get the bully cat.
And that's...
Bully cat? What the hell
hey,
is that?
it's a real thing. It's a real thing.
Is it really?
Seriously, it is. But what's cutting
nuts.
is a guy reached out. Shout out to my guy, Mike. Mike, if you see this, man, or you listen to this podcast, Mike, man, him and I get on that phone for a good 4. He down in Florida, and he said, Trev, I believe that authenticity will hold its weight in gold in the future because of the world we live in. And, my boy Rich, he's another one like, bro, people fuck with you. Is authentic as fuck. It's just the truth, right? Mm-hmm. So when we're looking at, again, just values and scaling and connecting and character development, where we're at today, where we're going to land, what are some things that you guys look for?
For me, I mean, to lean on some of what Parker was saying, even about being genuine, being honest, and standing by what it is that you believe. Like for me, someone who's purely like just the truth. For instance, Trev has always been 100% upfront and honest with me in everything. And some of the things I might not like what he says, but it's the truth, and I can live with that at least, because at least we know where we stand.
You like to know where people think you are, and where people, where they are too. It's
exactly. Yeah. I think that's the big one for me personally.
Yeah.
What about you, Maul?
Man, life is like a roller coaster, man. So, like I said, you could be at a lot of different stages. Unfortunately for me, like getting into it, you would get a lot of energy at once, and it's kind of hard to kind of like really depict what's going on because so much stuff is being thrown at you. Mm-hmm. And fast forward and just being able, when things slowed down, it was with a lot of older people, if that made any sense. Yeah. The older gentleman really was able to just sit me down and be like, hey, look here, young blood, this is what's going on. Mm-hmm. And I realized that, as I grew older, man, I always wanted the chill, the family vibes, and those are some of the morals and values I look for in like when I'm talking to people or men, or just like how they handle business. And when you're in a fast-paced life, you don't really get to see what's going on in the back end with a lot of people. You know what I mean? And sometimes you get into some deals, you get into some business with fucking just bullshit ass people, man. So like with me right now, one of my values is like high value, just characteristic, morals, what they stand for, what are they trying to build, and like what are they trying to leave behind. And I think, especially having a kid and trying to figure out who I wanted to become, I knew that my son didn't ask to be in his life. Yeah. So I just really just watch how people move when it comes to what they're trying to. You got have no kids, but like what their idea of what the life they want for themselves. Okay, you kind of can kind of break that down. If something was to happen unexpected, like a child, just based on their morals, how they move. Okay, man, this person is heavy invested in making sure they always have more than what they spend and shit like that, man. So it's like I had to take a lot of those characteristics and just pretty much just watch how people broke down their everyday aspects of their life and be like, okay, that could be somebody I want to learn from, I want to grow with, you know what I mean? And I made that kind of my mission to be able to get in certain kind of rooms just based on how I knew people were moving, like on a personal, you know what I'm saying? And that's what kind of attracted me to, me wanting to try to build some type of relationship around those folks.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
You know, but I also know the other thing, even like Parker was saying, and, you know, energy, man, energy is everything.
yeah, energy is everything.
And
man.
you know, that's something I've definitely learned even with the dogs, because the dogs will tell you straight up, you know, when someone's good or bad. Basically, if they
Really?
walk into your presence, oh yeah, they can sense that stuff, man. So, you know, I think energy is everything, because I'm a big energy person too.
Yeah.
And if I walk under and I just feel the energy is even somewhat off, even just if it's coming from one specific person, I'll know, just like you said, I'll have that gut instinct almost. And
Yeah.
you'll know in that moment.
Man,
I'll
energy
be outta
causes a
here.
lot of confusion, man. Because you know, what I mean, like depending on what level you at, like you know, we were saying earlier, shit, you could be operating at a low frequency on a horrible environment. And you could be just like, you could see a quota, and you could be making that quota. You know what I mean? And you won't know that shit is kind of tearing you apart because you just consumed in what's going on, and you know.
Yeah.
It's a lot of transitions. I know a lot of dirtbags making a whole bunch of fucking money.
Man,
You know what I mean? It's like shit. But do you feel good about yourself being a dirtbag? Do you have a kid that's going to school and motherfuckers know where your kid go to school at? I can't. You know, look, I got too much shit going on, bro. You know, so I just can't understand. But it's not meant for me to understand because I'm not operating on that level. So fuck it.
yeah.
Yeah, I get that for sure. As a former dirtbag, I fully understand.
Bro, we all were there at one point.
For real. Oh yeah.
All were there, bro. So,
Oh yeah.
Yes,
I mean, that's too much
So
pressure.
that's a
dog.
whole nother life right there.
it is.
for
It's
you.
hard though. You know what? I was talking. Who was I talking? Doesn't matter. But it's true. You know, when you're doing things, even if you're just 20% off base, right? Like, and you're just not being genuine about it, or you're not doing the right things.
Yeah.
It has a butterfly effect all throughout everything until you
Oh my
correct
God,
it.
bro.
Man.
Until you correct it. So yeah, I mean, you may have your money, right?
But
your
isn't it funny
personal
that
life
you
would be in
always
shambles.
know what you did wrong. When something goes
Oh,
wrong,
my
you be
God.
like, "Damn, I should have. I knew I should have done that shit."
Yeah,
like
there
when
you go.
That shit is the worst. Is when you did something wrong and
know.
something bad
You
happened,
knew
you
it,
just,
though.
"Damn, I knew I shouldn't have done it."
Yeah.
It's like when you grill your kids and like everybody else is like, why are you so hard? Because I know this motherfucker did it. You know what I'm saying? he knows what he did. You know what I'm saying? I just, man, look, man,
crazy.
it was just some shit I had to shake up off, man, because it just went like, this is just insane, bro. It's just so much easier and not easier, but less things you have to worry about, more things you could just grow in a positive thought.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
It's true, man. That's a good point, because I can think of so many times where, like, I take 5 steps forward, and then I do something stupid. I'm now 6 steps backwards.
6, bro, and them
Yeah.
six ones hurt.
They hurt every single way. I feel like you got to
Oh,
kick
my
and
God.
drag backwards. Yeah.
So that's one of the things, you know. In the next episode, we'll do a Parker. We'll talk depression.
Yeah.
I think that's a real topic that
Talk
men,
what? I'm sorry.
depression.
Depression.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be one that, you know, again, he's a mental health advocate in a sense. He's went through his things. We talked a little bit with Stan and them yesterday, but I've got another group of men where you say, man, that's another space where I posted a video and some people messaged me on my IG, and they were like, yo, man, thanks for saying something, bro, because you never know how someone's living, and the goal is not to make their lives worse. But when you are, again, trying to grow, it's, you know, you hear it all the time. You can't carry a bunch of dead weight. So for one, I can't thank Parker enough for and Maul, everybody chimed in this time. This right here is a good episode. It's got a good pulse. But you look at, you know, the people that you want in your life. Where do you want to go? How do you want to grow? Who has to go?
Depression under pressure, man.
Who has to go? I
Who
like
has
that.
to go so you can grow? And everyone here takes a little bit of pressure off of everyone. And I love even the opportunities podcasts is providing to connect more people to more things.
Yeah.
And mind you, I told you I hated podcasts. I didn't own the stuff. So the beauty about owning the technology, in a sense, is like I don't ever have to stop now, because when we just stopped working with that one guy, we were like, yo, we need everything back. I was like, bet. But now we're sitting here learning. I've shared a lot of truths. We're going to get to some more truths. Hopefully you guys learn to apply some of this right here and leverage it. Like, none of us are where we need to be, but part of what I love is eventually, as Parker talked about doing a podcast himself or hanging out with us, is how do I keep showing you why this guy's interesting? If you're watching because of the dog page, I know why you're watching, because you're like, this motherfucker's crazy and he's interesting. And I've told Maul, you got to post more, because now I let him listen to the video. They're like, yo, grab that Maul. I want to see him in more stuff. And you know, I fussed at Jamarcus about making sure his brand has an identity and how he's going to lean into communicating effectively about, you know, people taking something and sharing it on because he said it. You know, as he's experiencing this whole thing, potentially getting out of hand. And these are the things that people miss when they were building what? Facebook, Apple, Google, Amazon. Imagine if you could go back and see day 1 to day 100 and you were there for a part of that whole journey. Like that's a blueprint, people. We live in a digital era. That blueprint for building Amazon, you'll never do it twice. But still, but still, just watching the story could provide some motivation that you didn't have to go out and at least try.
Yeah.
That's my best advice is always to try. So we're on the UnMotivated podcast. Clearly, everybody here is relatively motivated. and we're going to keep this show rolling. Again, this right here, I think, which is highlighted values, friendship, leaning into the things that you want to learn from. Removing the things that need to go so you can grow. And as always, people, thank you for listening and good luck.
Boom.